Hey everybody, it's Matt Parks with Market Street Media. Just want to kind of jump in today and talk a little bit about this iPad platform that we're doing for restoration companies, and kind of get a feel out there to see, if this is something that's useful for the industry. We're currently beta testing it out with a few different water damage companies, in one here in Nashville and one in South Florida, and it really seems to be going well. And I just really wanted to get some feedback from everybody else on if this is something that would be useful throughout the industry, and if so, potentially do a full service setup. Anyways, I guess we can jump right in. What the platform is, it's an iPad-based software. It also works via a cloud server for the internet, so you can log into any web-based computer, web-enabled computer, and view statistics on basic data that's filled out in the field by a water damage tech. Essentially, the water damage tech would get to a job and set up and open up the platform. And this is, keep in mind, still in complete beta phase. The look and feel of it's probably not 100% where it's going to be in the future. But it's just to kind of get it testing and running to make sure it's going to be working properly. So as the tech opens the program, he'll come to a losses screen, and this is where he can enter in any data on the loss. So basically he'll put a client name. So if Market Street Media, and enter that, any client address of what it could be, 150 2nd Avenue South. Client zip code, and it will populate the state data, or the state and city data automatically. Now, is the address of the loss the same? Yes, if it is, and if not, it will pop up another box asking for the address of the loss. What type of loss is it? Water, fire, mold, sewer, other. You just select one depending on what the loss is. Type of loss, if it's another, contact name, phone, cell phone, etc. Has a contract been signed? Repair contract been signed? No. And all these fields are very customizable depending on what your needs are. So, things can be added or removed or changed however you need them. Then we get down to the job forms for this specific loss. Now this, by putting in all this initial data, it allows you to store specific forms under the same that same loss ID. So it all is essentially one big file folder for this loss, and eliminates the need for paperwork. You can still print off paperwork back at the office or at any web-based computer and get the actual paper forms if needed, which you can also, if you have a specific layout for your form, we can make it so that your forms are automatically populated by the data that the tech enters. So he's not at the scene or at the loss filling out a bunch of paperwork and comes back wrinkled, and we all know how that works. But a job form now, for instance, this makes it very easy for a technician to estimate a loss on site without having to go through Xactimate or some other program like that. They can just pull up a field estimate for this specific loss after they filled out the general loss data. And it will pop up with a rooms affected. Again, a very easily customizable form. We just select which rooms are affected. What type of service trip was it? Was it a regular service trip? And if so, what the costs, and it'll automatically populate the cost data for the client. So we'll see down here a service subtotal of, just for instance, this client has a after-hours service trip cost of $180.80. How many setup hours it took? So say it took 3 hours to set up the air movers and all the dehues and whatnot, and give you a full setup cost, and if there was thermal imaging involved, and then give you a subtotal based on that. So essentially your technician can give the client a instant idea or estimate without having to go, like I said, through the whole Xactimate program. And all these values that are plugged into each unit of time that's another customizable thing. You can change it based on your company and what you charge per hour or per unit. Same thing with air movers and equipment usage. So you just plug in the number of air movers that you used and how many days it's expected to be in there. So 3 air movers for 3 days, total of $252. Same thing with any other type of equipment, and all we do is just plug in the number of them and how many days it's expected to be there, and it'll automatically populate a cost. Now, keep in mind, this is a rough estimate. If you use Xactimate or something else to get a more exact number, specifically for insurance reasons, then this is not going to be perfect for Xactimate unless you use the price data from the price sheet to populate these numbers, which we can do. And like I said, it's all customizable. But you get the hint with all this. This is all, number of air scrubbers, number of turbo vents, whatever kind of equipment you can use, we can add that in here. It gives you an equipment subtotal, any extraction and drying services that you offer for that client, and expect, say they have 300 square feet of water damage or flooded living room. It's going to cost them $165. It'll give the client an exact or a rough estimate for that number. Any other services that they require, you can again, customizable. If you need to haul away any debris, how much it's going to cost, cabinet removal, so on and so forth. Give you a total estimate for all the services, including the service call. And what's cool here is you can actually add a voice note. So if you want to just kind of doubly secure that the client's agreeing to the rough estimate, you can essentially click the record button here and record, do you agree to this estimate? And they say yes, so I do. Stop it, and then of course it'll play back. Do you agree to this estimate? And they say yes, so I do. So, and that will all store into the cloud server too. You can then get a client signature on the spot. So by signing below, it says customer agrees to all terms and pricing. So you just click on the button and the client can instantly sign their document saying, hey, I agreed to it. And this image gets stored on the server along with all the paperwork. Click done, and it will populate all that data into the server, and you can access it from any web-based computer. And that's just the field estimate. There are plenty or more forms that are available. Again, it's all based on what your company needs. And we build that specifically for your business. So it's a completely custom app. But it really saves your employees a lot of time and a lot of hassle with paperwork. You'll find that there's a lot of waste going on before you're using this. Again, now you go back and you can find off any other pertinent information or forms for the company. If you have a work order, service summary, or humidity records. So your tech can go in on a daily basis and kind of say, all right, for this, for the foyer for this date, we can look at what the humidity was for the inspection date and time, and then who the technician was. Outside temperature, relative humidity, grains, unaffected area, and all that. And they can populate all this information stored in the database. So there's so that information is always there and always accessible. Moisture logs, more audio notes in the file folder for if you need to do anything else. Any other forms you need to require, a hold harmless, or request to remove valuables, or stop work. If the client comes to you and says, hey, I want to stop everything you're doing. It just says we can populate it with whatever information. You get a signature from the client saying, I understand that I don't hold you harmless, whatever. That's just the basic info. If you want to email the data to somebody at the office or even to the client, you can do that. Just pop the email form and put their email address in, and it will email all the data directly to that person. That's the basics of the program. Again, this is just kind of seeing if anybody's interested in the platform. If you are, it's something you can just contact us, and we can kind of look at what exactly your needs are and see if it will solve your paperwork problems. Other than that, if you have any questions, email me, Matt, M-A-T-T, at mktstmedia.com, or visit my website, mktstmedia.com. That's Market Street Media abbreviated. Any other questions? Yeah, just give me a shout. Thanks so much. Have a good one.